Be prepared, this is not a normal week. The third week of September 2025 is unlike anything you've experienced so far this year. The energy that surrounds these days doesn't play by ordinary rules. It doesn't care about comfort, routine, or convenience. It cuts through the ordinary, exposing cracks you didn't even know existed. It hits everywhere, in ways that feel sudden, inexplicable, and inevitable. You cannot avoid it. You cannot hide from it. Not dreamers, not skeptics, not even those who try to distract themselves with noise, work, or endless scrolling. If you thought the last lunar eclipse stirred something within, brace yourself, because what's about to land is on a completely different level. This isn't just a shift. This is the pivot point that will define how the rest of 2025 unfolds. And if you're not paying attention, it could catch you completely off guard. This isn't fearmongering. It's alignment, and it's already in motion. The week begins quietly but with pressure you can feel in your chest. At first, it appears as subtle restlessness, a strange unease that you can't shake. Conversations feel heavier than usual. The world feels louder, yet hollow. You'll catch yourself pausing mid-thought, sensing that something is about to change before you even understand what. This is the universe tapping you on the shoulder, warning, preparing. Patterns that once felt unshakable begin to tremble. Routines dissolve. The familiar no longer feels familiar. Even the things you trusted to anchor you, the habits, the schedules, the people, start to shift under your feet. And then the cosmic events begin, layering one on top of the other, each with a weight that cannot be ignored. The first major strike arrives on September 16th. The moon aligns with Jupiter. On paper, it seems harmless, almost hopeful. Expansion, opportunity, optimism. But Jupiter never works that way. It doesn't hand out easy rewards. Its blessings are never free. It tests before it grows. When the moon steps into Jupiter's light, it magnifies everything: your desires, your fears, your capacity. It doesn't give comfort, it reveals responsibility. Wealth comes with weight. Freedom comes with accountability. Opportunity arrives disguised as difficulty. An offer may appear, shimmering with promise, yet hidden in it are risks that make your stomach turn. A person may enter your life, compelling, magnetic, but challenging, asking more than you thought you could give. A problem might appear, one you'd rather avoid, but it is a doorway to expansion if only you dare step through. Most will retreat. They will see only discomfort and walk away. But the discomfort is the invitation. This is how Jupiter stretches you. This is how the universe expands you from the inside out. Those who notice, those who lean in will emerge changed. Not just with more in their external world, but with a bigger capacity inside themselves. The moon with Jupiter doesn't reward laziness. It awakens readiness. As this wave of internal pressure grows, restless energy spreads. You'll feel it in the background, subtle at first, like a whisper, then louder. People snap for no reason. Plans that once felt secure start to feel like cages. Comfort becomes suffocating. It hits everyone indiscriminately. Introverts, extroverts, planners, risk-takers, dreamers. No one escapes. And then comes the silence. Not ordinary silence, not the calm of night. This is heavy silence. The kind that watches, that waits. The kind that forces reflection whether you want it or not. Most will drown it out, scrolling endlessly, talking, distracting themselves. But silence is never empty. It is always a signal. When it arrives, it acts as a mirror, reflecting what you have avoided, exposing what has been off balance. This silence is not a pause. It is a warning, the inhale before the storm, a moment to notice what the rest of the week is about to reveal. If you ignore it, the universe will find another way to get your attention, louder, harsher, unavoidable. You may start noticing patterns repeating. Small annoyances that normally wouldn't affect you feel magnified. A missed call, a forgotten task, a tense conversation. They hit differently. They are not coincidences. They are signals. Each minor disruption is a signpost pointing to deeper alignment, deeper awareness. Pay attention to where your energy goes, who you give it to, and what you cling to. This is the week of exposure, and exposure is uncomfortable. But it is necessary. On September 19th, the moon meets Venus. At first glance, it looks like sweetness, romance, beauty, comfort. But the universe rarely delivers gifts in this week. This alignment is about temptation, exposure, and revelation. Venus magnifies desire, showing not only what you want but what you lack. That magnetic person who drains you. The impulse to spend recklessly. The comfort of old habits that promise ease but steal strength. These are not accidents. The moon holds a mirror to your cravings. It asks, silently but insistently, why do you want this? The test is clear. You can choose the glittering door, dazzling but empty, or the plain door, boring yet real. Most choose the glitter, but those who see through the illusion find themselves sharpened. Venus doesn't punish. Venus teaches. It teaches craving strength over sweetness, substance over appearance, true alignment over shallow comfort. It asks you, bluntly, are you willing to give up false security for real growth? And if you ignore the pull, it will keep tugging until you do notice. And then comes the main event. September 21st. The sky stages a partial solar eclipse. The sun, the ultimate symbol of clarity, truth, and visibility, is partially masked. For hours, reality itself feels uncertain. The light that guides your decisions, your understanding, the clarity you rely on, is dimmed. Nothing feels as certain as it once did. And here's the key, when the sun retreats, shadows rise. Not metaphorical shadows. Real ones within your mind, your habits, your impulses. Those cravings you thought were gone claw back. That fear you thought conquered whispers louder. That habit you promised yourself to quit returns with renewed strength. The eclipse does not create weakness. It exposes it. It illuminates exactly where you've been blind, showing you what you've ignored. And if you ignore it again, it only grows. The world may marvel at the sky, but the real battlefield is inside you. Most people stumble here. They cave. They sabotage. They spiral into familiar cycles. They blame the energy, the weak, the world. But this eclipse is offering a weapon, awareness. For once, you cannot pretend. You see the shadow. You feel it in its raw intensity. And then comes the choice. Do you feed it, let it run wild, or do you starve it, diminish its hold permanently? Standing firm during these hours does not just resist a fleeting temptation. It scars the shadow. It weakens it for all future rises. The eclipse is not punishment. It is preparation. It is training your mind, your will, your soul. And when the sun re-emerges, if you have faced your shadows, you emerge stronger, more resilient, unshakable. But the pressure does not end there. The eclipse coincides with Saturn in full opposition. Saturn does not flatter. It does not offer comfort or illusions. It asks coldly, unrelentingly, where have you lied to yourself? Where have you avoided responsibility? Where have you cut corners, made excuses, or failed to stand firm? This is a week of mirrors. And Saturn is the hardest mirror of all. It doesn't break you. It sharpens you, like a blade against stone. The grinding is uncomfortable. You may feel judgment. You may feel weighed down. But this is clarity, not cruelty. Saturn exposes the cracks in your foundation. It shows where your efforts, your choices, your discipline have fallen short. And those who lean into the friction, who face the weight, do not crumble. They emerge more precise, more defined, more aligned. Those who resist, who deflect, who hide, widen the cracks. The opposition is a pressure test. The eclipse is a battlefield. Together, they are a crucible for transformation. September is not merely a month, it is a pressure cooker. The late weeks, especially the third week, are designed to stir everyone in ways they do not fully understand. Restlessness appears suddenly. Anxiety rises without reason. People act impulsively. Decisions made in these moments feel urgent, overwhelming, even reckless. Friends quit their jobs, strangers act strangely, people spend impulsively, relationships snap unexpectedly. The energy does not discriminate. It hits everyone: introverts, extroverts, planners, dreamers, risk-takers. And yet, this energy is not chaos. It is potential. The so-called panic is raw, unshaped power, a surge the mind has yet to direct. It is your future self knocking on the door, demanding attention, asking, "Are you ready to face what comes next?" Those who harness it, who direct the nervous, jittery energy into action, transform. Those who resist or suppress it are swept along, carried into outcomes they did not choose. September amplifies anxiety because it is the universe forcing preparation. It is momentum disguised as panic. Even after the sun returns from its eclipse, the effects continue to ripple. The decisions you made, the shadows you faced or ignored, the tests you embraced or fled, set the tone for the remaining months of 2025. Choices echo. Small actions multiply. Tiny slips or victories this week have consequences that extend far beyond the next few days. You may find an argument lingering longer than expected. You may feel pulled into responsibility in a way you didn't anticipate. A door you ignored may close forever, or a leap you took may open a path you never imagined. The chain reaction of the week does not wait for comfort, explanation, or understanding. It begins immediately, flowing through every relationship, every plan, every thought. This is why ignoring the week is not an option. Even passivity is a choice, and it carries consequences. As the solar eclipse fades and Saturn slowly eases its pressure, subtle shifts begin. These shifts are not loud or dramatic. They are almost imperceptible. A sense of clarity, a new perspective, a quiet power. Those who have been present, attentive, who faced their shadows and met Saturn's gaze, will feel an alignment that cannot be explained in ordinary terms. The choices made under pressure have created internal leverage. The world may appear unchanged. The streets, the traffic, the routines, the people, all may seem the same. But the internal landscape is transformed. The mind, the spirit, the awareness has been stretched. What was once heavy is now light. What was chaotic is now precise. What was hidden is now seen. Yet, even with this clarity, the week does not simply end. The energy lingers, subtly influencing every action. Conversations will carry more weight. Opportunities will demand courage. Decisions, even mundane ones, are amplified. There is no moment this week when the energy is dormant. Even quiet periods are charged. Even moments of rest are tinged with revelation. It is a week that teaches vigilance, awareness, and presence. The smallest choices carry significance. A glance, a word, a pause, a refusal, all resonate. The cosmos has set this week as a stage, and you are both actor and observer. The pressure tests not just your patience, but your ability to respond with alignment and insight. And here's the twist. The week is layered, almost like a puzzle. One event informs the next. Shadows revealed during the eclipse show the patterns to watch for during Saturn's opposition. Temptations exposed under Venus's light highlight the internal weaknesses you might encounter during Jupiter's expansion. The restless anxiety of September acts like a drumbeat, keeping awareness alert, ensuring nothing is overlooked. Ignore one layer and the others grow sharper. Notice and engage with each, and you gain leverage beyond anything you could have planned. The universe in September 2025 is not random. Every alignment, every opposition, every eclipse, every subtle pull is a message. It is a system of revelation, testing, and expansion. This is the point where many falter. They look for comfort, for ease, for predictable outcomes. They hope the pressure will pass. But it does not. Not this week. The week forces visibility, responsibility, awareness, and courage. You may feel exhaustion. You may feel tension. You may even feel fear. That is not a weakness. That is a sign that the week is doing exactly what it is meant to do. Break old patterns, reveal the hidden, sharpen the inner faculties, and prepare you for the coming months. It's a test that is as internal as it is external, as subtle as it is intense. And if you miss it, the consequences will ripple far beyond just this week. As the week progresses, the chain reaction continues. Every decision made under the pressure of eclipses, alignments, and Saturn's opposition resonates farther than most realize. Those who ignored the warnings may feel a strange pull, A sense that the world has moved on without them, that opportunities slipped away unnoticed. Those who engaged, who faced the shadows, who leaned into discomfort, feel an internal shift, subtle at first, but growing stronger each day. The external world may appear unchanged, but inside, clarity sharpens, resilience hardens, and priorities realign. The ripple effect is relentless. People who have been passive for months suddenly feel called to action. Relationships are tested. Some break, some deepen. Decisions that were once easy suddenly demand courage. Choices that seemed small carry unexpected weight. A casual conversation may reveal truth you've avoided. An email, a text, even a fleeting thought may trigger insight. Nothing this week is trivial. Everything is amplified, magnified by the cosmic energy pushing from all directions. The pressure is designed not to overwhelm, but to expose the patterns you've been ignoring, the gaps you've been avoiding, and the growth you've been resisting. September 2025 is teaching a lesson few expect. Alignment does not come in comfort. Growth does not arrive quietly. Transformation often comes wrapped in tension, shadows, and discomfort. And this week delivers all three. Restlessness, anxiety, temptation, challenge, each is part of a test. The moment you feel yourself resisting, panicking, or fleeing is the exact moment to pause and ask, what is this trying to teach me? The impulses that feel disruptive are not random. They are messages, signals from the cosmos pushing you toward insight, understanding, and eventual mastery. Ignoring them is easy. Facing them requires courage. And here's the subtle, almost invisible part of the week, the future shock. As September fades into October, the weight of the year becomes impossible to ignore. Time seems to accelerate. Unfinished plans loom. Deadlines approach. The clock ticking in your mind grows louder. Anxiety may feel contagious, spreading among friends, colleagues, even strangers, but it is also a signal. A signal that the universe is aligning circumstances so that you are forced to act, forced to face reality, forced to take responsibility. Panic is merely a surface symptom of the energy flowing beneath. If harnessed, it becomes momentum. If resisted, it becomes chaos. This week is showing the difference. Even ordinary moments take on new significance. A choice about money, a conversation about relationships, a decision about work or health, these are no longer small. They are magnified. The eclipse has heightened awareness. Saturn has exposed weaknesses. Jupiter has tested patience and expansion. Venus has reflected desires and temptations. Everything is in motion. There is no room for avoidance. There is no space for indifference. Even ignoring the week carries consequences. And yet, for those paying attention, the gifts are extraordinary. The insights you gain now, under pressure, are durable. They do not fade with time. Lessons learned in discomfort stick. Wisdom born from tension becomes instinct. Strength forged in shadow becomes unshakable. And for those willing to lean into the week, to face temptation, shadows, anxiety, and pressure, September 2025 is not a week to endure, it is a week to master. Consider the subtle timing. September 16th's Moon-Jupiter alignment prepared the stage. It was the invitation disguised as difficulty, showing you where responsibility and expansion intersect. September 19th's Moon-Venus alignment revealed what you truly crave, forcing reflection on desire versus illusion. September 21th's partial solar eclipse exposed your shadows, while Saturn's opposition forced accountability. Each event builds on the previous. Each layer magnifies the next. By the time the week reaches its peak, you are confronted with a culmination of forces, each demanding attention, awareness, and courage. Ignoring them leaves you unprepared. Engaging with them transforms you. The patterns revealed are not limited to individuals. Look around. Watch your friends, your colleagues, strangers online, even your neighbors. Restlessness is contagious. Impulse is mirrored. Decisions ripple outward. The week acts like a magnifying glass on society itself, highlighting tensions, exposing vulnerabilities, and revealing collective impulses. The energy does not discriminate. It affects everyone in subtle and overt ways. Those paying attention will notice the synchronicities. Those ignoring it may feel swept along by forces they do not understand. And here's a critical insight. The week is not only about challenge. It is about timing. Opportunities appear as challenges. Insights appear as tension. Strength appears as confrontation. This is why the week feels unpredictable, even chaotic. The cosmos is offering openings disguised as obstacles. Doors that seem threatening, paths that seem uncertain, people who challenge you instead of comforting you. These are exactly the points where growth occurs. Avoid them and you miss the lesson. Face them and you expand beyond previous limits. By the end of the week, the world outside may appear unchanged. Life continues as usual. Routines resume. Traffic, work, and obligations persist. But internally, the effects are irreversible. Awareness has shifted. Shadows have been confronted. Responsibility has been tested. Choices have been made. The week creates a new baseline, a new version of self, capable of carrying the rest of 2025 with greater clarity, strength, and resilience. And for those who ignored it, the missed opportunities linger as quiet echoes, reminding them of the consequences of inattention. This week is not about comfort. It is about alignment. Not about ease, but about clarity. Not about avoiding pressure, but about mastering it. Each event, Jupiter, Venus, the eclipses, Saturn, is a lever. A lever that moves internal realities, external circumstances, and the flow of your year. Engage with these levers consciously, and you can direct the outcome. Ignore them, and you are carried by forces beyond comprehension. And here is the subtle, almost invisible lesson. Fear is not the enemy. Anxiety is not the enemy. Shadow is not the enemy. Discomfort is not the enemy. Resistance, delay, avoidance, these are the enemies. The week amplifies everything. It shows what you are strong enough to face. It tests what you are unwilling to confront. The pressure is intentional. The challenges are deliberate. The timing precise. Every impulse you feel, every restlessness, every temptation, every shadow surfacing is a mirror. It is showing you where your power lies, where your responsibility rests, and what you are truly capable of handling. As the third week of September 2025 closes, a new awareness settles in. You have seen patterns previously invisible. You have felt pressures previously unnoticed. You have faced shadows previously avoided. And now, you can carry the remainder of the year differently. Choices are sharper. Awareness is clearer. Priorities are defined. And for those who acted consciously, the week leaves them unshakable. Not because the world has changed, but because they have. So, ask yourself, are you merely surviving the week? Or are you mastering it? Are you being carried by the energy, or are you directing it? The shadows, the anxieties, the temptations, are they controlling you or are you controlling them? This week does not forgive indifference. It does not reward passivity, but it grants immense power to those willing to engage, to face themselves, and to act with awareness. And when the eclipses fade, when Saturn moves out of opposition, when the Moon and Venus drift apart, when Jupiter continues its expansion, the world will continue. But you, if you were present, if you engaged, will remain fundamentally changed. Clarity will guide decisions. Awareness will shape choices. Strength will define actions. And the remaining months of 2025 will unfold on a foundation you have consciously created, rather than one left to chance. So be ready. Watch for the impulses that feel too strong to ignore. Pay attention to the temptations that feel sweet but hollow. Confront the shadows you thought were gone. Lean into the discomfort, the pressure, the tension. Because when the week ends, the question will remain. Will you be the same, or will you have become unshakable? The third week of September 2025 is not just a week. It is a turning point, a crucible, a mirror, a weapon, a guide. And it is already in motion. Align with it, and it transforms you. Ignore it, and it teaches anyway, but in ways you may not like. The universe does not stop. Time does not pause. Opportunities do not linger. The pressure is real, The lessons are real, and the outcomes will be felt long after the week ends. The question is simple. Will you answer the call? Will you step into the discomfort, face the shadow, navigate the temptation, and act under pressure? Or will you turn away, hoping the energy will pass, and miss the transformation you were meant to experience? The week is watching. The alignments are precise. The eclipses are deliberate. Saturn is uncompromising. Jupiter is testing. Venus is reflecting. And you are at the center of it all, whether you realize it or not. This is your moment. Not just another week. Not just another set of cosmic events. But a moment that has the power to shape your entire year. To sharpen your awareness. To expand your capacity. To reveal your true strength.